you do the same now?
He promised it a long time ago, and he was rebuffed. I mean, that's not what this is about. I mean, they've demonstrated over and over and over. Somebody said this is the Seinfeld shutdown. It's about nothing.
If
you brought in 100 Senate and House Democrats right now and said, what is it about? They wouldn't even give you the same answer. They don't even know. They filed a counter proposal that's $1.5 trillion in new spending with all the crazy abuses that I listed earlier today. That's still sitting out there. That's the counter proposal. Then they tried to say it was about health care. That was never the issue for the September 30th fiscal cliff. That was always a December issue. We always knew. Everybody in the building knew. We were going to have to wrestle through that and come to a consensus on a solution on the COVID-era Obamacare subsidies in October, November, December.
But it's not a clean
and ironically,
bill.
they're eating up
I
all
think
the clock
Trump is pushing for something that
it's not about any of this. It's
about
about politics, as we explained earlier. They are more afraid of the radical activists who are running the Democratic Party right now than they are of starving families, having families go hungry and having federal workers go without paychecks. That's just a simple fact. So yes, Leader Thune has been over backwards. He's offered them a vote. You know what they told him in response? No, we need you to guarantee the outcome of that vote. Well, that's ridiculous. That can't be done.
House is funded from the Senate. Will you assure the House members that they'll get a vote, House Democrats, that they'll get a vote on ACA subsidies by a date certain?
No, because we did our job, and I'm not part of the negotiation. The House did its job on September 19th. I'm not promising anybody anything. I'm going to let this process play out. I'll tell you what they wanted. I'll tell you what Schumer and Jeffries wanted. In fact, Chuck Schumer said it publicly and decried that Thune and I would not go in a back room with them and make a four corners agreement on Obamacare subsidies. And I said, there's no way. That it was never possible or appropriate for that to be handled on a CR on a short-term stopgap funding measure. And he knows that. And we're not doing that anymore. We're not taking four leaders in a back room and making a deal and hoisting it upon the people. I'm not going to be a part of that. Chuck Schumer is part of the old way this was done. And that's part of the reason why people have such a lack of trust in Congress. We need to be transparent, open, we need to do it through the process, we need to involve and engage all of our caucuses and all of our members in this discussion. Healthcare is very complicated, it is very complex, and it is not something four people can go in a smoke-filled room in the back and make a deal on.
Smoke-filled room.
Speaking of the president yesterday said that Republicans were getting billed for the shutdown. Is it helpful to have them talking like this when it's actually emboldening Democrats not to pay?
Look, I've spoken with the president about it. I reminded him, as I said this morning, this was not a surprise to us. I mean, blue states elected blue leaders. I mean, so what?
I think they're both holding out.
It would have been a huge headline if we could have had an upset there.
The Democrats, and I think people know
that was to be expected.
And they're tired about that.
Leader Scalise said, I mean, if the three big elections yesterday would have been in Louisiana, Alabama, and Texas, you'd have a totally different narrative, right? Or name any red state.
You know what
it just so happened that those were the blue states. That was the blue outcomes. That's what everybody expected. I don't read too much into that.
Watch these people point fingers and argue.
Two questions. One, about the shutdown, you said 48-hour notice for the House to return. Does that include this weekend? And then a question for you and for Chairwoman McClain.
Look, dude's picking his ear. Agreed. Let's see how he answers this. I pay a lot for eggs.
The USDA has reported, and all of the economists have shown, food prices always go up. There's an inflationary level that's built into grocery prices, but they're going up at a much slower pace. In other words, the economic policies, even though all the provisions of the Working Families Tax Cut have not yet been implemented, that's going to make a dramatic effect. It's going to be like jet fuel to the economy. We have all these pro-growth policies that will bring down costs, increase wages,
I'm still waiting on
increase
jobs, and
more access to the economic rungs that more people can climb up the ladder. But in the meantime, even the fact that we have made these positive steps and momentum, grocery prices are rising at their slowest level in many years. You should look into that.
I would like some too. I'd like some trillions of dollars.
Exhibit C, and the argument that it's Republican policies that are the only thing that's going to bring that down. The reason that your grocery prices are so high, it's multifaceted. It's because we had 4 years of Bidenomics. Remember when they tried to tell you that Bidenomics was so good for you and your family, and everybody went, "What are you talking about?" That's part of the reason we shellacked them in the election last fall. Because they were trying to sell you a bill of goods that wasn't true. And the reason that inflation rose is because, as was noted earlier, the big signature pieces of legislation that they passed in the Biden administration were disastrous for the economy. And it made inflation rise rapidly. Why? Because when you pour more dollars into the economy, that is the effect. It's just as sure as gravity. It's basic economics.
Did he say when you pour more dollars into the economy?
And the Marxists and the socialists who are taking over the Democratic Party turn a blind eye to the
missed it.
reality of
Don't
basic
roast me.
economics, and you're going to see the effects of that as well. Yes.
To the election results in these blue states, but there were some significant reversals of Trump's gains with Hispanic populations here in New Jersey. Are you at all concerned about Republicans retaining those voters in the next midterm election about something like that?
No, I do believe that the demographic shift that we were able to see and experience in the 2024 election will hold.
Look at that poor guy
I believe
behind
that
you,
the large
bro.
numbers of those new
He's been
voters
standing
and
for
those
such a long
demographics that have not
time.
traditionally been with the Republican Party are with us. I will point you to the study that the Democrats themselves paid
I
for.
can't
that came
point,
out, what,
man.
a
You
week or
guys
so
can't see
ago,
my
and had,
hands
I think
if I
hundreds
point,
of
man. I'm
thousands of
talking-
respondents to these
like
polls.
the lady.
And the
I
Democrats
don't know her
determined in their
name.
own analysis that
My
they are
gosh,
regarded
bro.
as weak, woke, and out of touch with the people. Okay, that's why they lost last November, and that's why they're going to lose.
Have you ever seen
this
someone
coming
in
November,
stilts,
okay?
like a puppet?
As Carlos Jimenez said, as a Cuban who came here, his family immigrated here. He came here when he was 7. This is the American dream. I know that the Hispanic and Latino populations across this country understand which party is delivering for them, and they're going to feel
guy
that
behind
positive
him.
effect. They're going to feel increased wages and more opportunity, and before they get to that election next fall. And that's why we did the big beautiful bill, the Working Families Tax Cut, so early in the year, because we wanted that to really take hold after the beginning of the year, so that people will feel that, and we're convinced they will, and I think that's going to inure to our benefit. Thank you all so much.
Well,
We always got you covered here on Live Now from Fox. We'll take a 2-minute break and be back with much more.
So my son told me 2 things. 1, that the camera is always in my glasses, and 2, I should just go through some of my videos here on YouTube, and so I might do that. If we might visit some of my favorite YouTubers and see how that goes. But oh, that's beautiful. There are rioters, or not rioters. So there's a difference. We've been pushed by the media for so long to call them a certain thing. So they're not writers, they're, not they don't have a job. What's the other word? Nothing better to do. Protesters. Sorry, took me a minute. Anyways, that looks like Tulsa. Let's go through my YouTube. Look at that dude. Look at that dude. Look at that dude at the bottom of the thing. Okay. Golly, do you see how they frame this? Like, there's always so many dudes. Like, it almost looks AI. I mean, the flags, yes, for sure. Why doesn't she have any flags on her side? Look, dudes. Dudes. So many dudes. Dudes, that guy has a mask on.
Welcome back, everyone, here worldwide for you on Live Now from Fox. So let's go back.
Maybe it's important.
This thing right here, God
What?
sent. When I saw it on the TikTok shop, I grabbed it immediately. My son and my daughter are both obsessed with bubbles, and I get tired of blowing bubbles all day.
For you on
their
Sorry about
healthcare.
that.
They know that it's a travesty that Speaker Mike Johnson has abdicated all responsibility by shutting down the House now for 45 days that we have not been in
It's
session
45?
here in the House.
No way.
And instead, Trump
Hold
has
on.
resorted to maximum
Well, I
cruelty,
can't check it right now 'cause you guys are on
illegally
my phone.
refusing to keep SNAP benefits going for 42 million Americans that are hungry. Threatening to
No,
withhold
hold
back
on.
pay for federal workers who are furloughed.
Watch with me,
and
guys.
now announcing cuts to air travel at 40 major airports. Instead of negotiating, he's trying to bully us. And we are not
Oh.
going to stand for it. That's right. On Tuesday night, the American people did their part. They came out and they voted overwhelmingly for progress
3 hours
to
ago.
end
That might be-
Republican cruelty.
Seems legit.
They told us with their votes to keep standing up and to keep fighting for them. They did their part, and we have to do ours now. We have to save healthcare. That's been the crux of the fight from the beginning. And there are plenty of Republicans in the Senate and in the House who actually know that they have to save healthcare. They are saying it out loud that we can't afford healthcare premiums to double and triple so that people just don't use their healthcare at all, and they are at risk of dying. So we can't continue to let Republicans just slash whatever they want in violation of what we in Congress authorized. And that's why Democrats have been holding the line and must continue to do so. We're still here
Democrats have shut
in
down the
Washington,
government.
D.C.,
Find
ready
your
to
rep.
negotiate. We've also been organizing
No
food
way.
assistance for our constituents, listening
go back.
to story after story from families who can't pay their bills, families who are going hungry because of the cuts to SNAP. And yet these same constituents are saying to us, please do not fold without making sure that we can afford our health care. Because they understand
I don't remember what she
that
said,
this fight
guys.
is
If you
about their
do,
ability to
put
live.
it in the comments. I can't remember what she said, but that's the actual
Of a failed
time
vote,
there.
or a promise of any vote later down the line is just
I have
not
a
good
cold.
enough.
Can you tell?
Trust has
Do I look like I have
completely
a cold?
broken down because Republicans keep breaking their promises. The urgency is real. The premiums are rising now. Rural hospitals are closing now. Tens of millions of Americans are suffering now. So we need a real,
I don't make very much money.
tangible win that the American people will
So,
feel now.
I actually make
Not
a lot of money
promise
with what
to
I do,
think about
but
addressing
I
the healthcare
owe.
crisis
So I went to
in the
prison
future.
and I owe like
Any deal must secure the
$22,000 in child
extension
support
of the
because
ACA
now
tax
all my
credits
sons live with
and
me,
ensure
but
health care for the American people with agreement from
it
the
continues
House,
to
the
accrue
Senate, and the White
monthly
House.
while you're in
Full
prison.
stop.
So I owe a
We
lot of
have the
money, and so they
momentum.
take
We have the support of the people because we are fighting
over half
for
my
them,
check.
with
But
them. With them.
not
And we can't
starving.
give out without a real victory for the people.
Tell me if
so
you
I
are.
want to thank our Senate colleagues
And if you are,
for
I
standing
apologize and
strong.
pray
And I
for
want
you.
to say the people have spoken. Stay strong and do not cave. It is
But
now
caving is my
honor
thing.
just making sure our whip isn't here yet. She's going to be here in a minute.
Whip?
But it is now my honor to introduce the incredible Chrissy Houlihan, who many of you saw challenging Mike Johnson.
That's not a real name.
Demanding that he actually sit down and negotiate. Thank you so much, Chrissy.
That's not a real name. Oh, she's a real person.
Thank you, Representative Jayapal. My name is
Gianthal.
Chrissy Houlihan, and you probably don't hear me speak quite as forcefully as I did yesterday, but I come from just up the road, a purple district in Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia, that has just as many Republicans as Democrats in
Oh,
it.
she's a white lady.
Those who know me understand
guys,
that I am pragmatic, I'm typically cool-headed,
so when
and
I
I'm
screen
typically quite
record,
collegial. And
there's
for
a
the
little
past
bar
7 years,
that
I've
hides
dedicated
the
my
majority
efforts
of this
first
top
and
part of the
foremost to
screen.
bipartisanship, because I really believe very much
'Cause
to
her
my
hair-
soul that in order for us to succeed, for our constituents, mine and everyone else's, that the people they send to DC must work together. It was never ever optional until now. Legislating that really creative process requires that we work across the aisle. It requires that we reach across every single divide and that we navigate every disagreement to negotiate
Sounds
the very
super
best
important.
possible
Listen.
available optimal solution for all of the American people. Is this a perfect system? Clearly it is not.
Right.
Sometimes, in fact, most times, the results aren't exactly
Look
what
at that,
anybody
dude,
wanted.
that 9-foot woman
completely.
coming on the
but
right.
That's the messy
Big old blue
reality of our
suit.
democracy.
Oh.
It's a treasured process. And every single member of the Congress has promised, indeed taken an oath to protect that process.
So,
Negotiation is a tool that Congress has
where do you
deployed
think they go
since
for lunch
America's
after this?
founding. But right
is it
now,
Chili's? Like, do they all go to
inexplicably, in my
Chili's after
opinion,
this?
The Republicans have refused to engage
I would hope
in
so.
it. And it's that stubborn
God bless
refusal
Thomas.
that is having
Inside joke.
catastrophic and life-threatening consequences.
Look at
For
that
the
dude in
first
the
time
back.
ever in my service here, Republicans have gone radio silent, which is in fact why with Mike Johnson in our current most recent exchange, and I like to think of it as a dialogue more than a confrontation, at his press conference yesterday, he reminded me and the American people that he has literally not sat down and talked to Democratic leaders since before the shutdown. Before the shutdown. Now on day 37. I reminded him that I have his phone number, I have Hakeem's phone number and Senator Schumer's phone number, and I'm happy to share that with him if for some reason he has a new phone. He and my Republican colleagues have done this radio silence apparently at the direction of their leadership. So instead of working with us, they are literally refusing our calls and refusing our asks for meetings, choosing instead to spend their time gaslighting the American public and creating and sowing even more division.
I know that word. My daughter said it.
They refuse to sit down with us, and they refuse to tell the American public the truth. They are lying to us about
What's
the
the truth? Tell me.
and its draconian cuts. They are lying about employment and inflation figures and our stuttering and shuddering economy. They are lying about the actual price of gasoline and groceries and so much more. So it is really past time to bring both parties together and to negotiate an end to this shutdown. But there are things that we need. To be able to negotiate that shutdown. We require a deal that actually addresses the healthcare crisis. Not that promises to think about addressing it down the road in 2 weeks with concepts of a plan.
I would buy Obama milk.
Sadly, at this point in time,
you know, if
even
the
I say
healthcare
it's
worked
impossible
the way
to trust
that
our
the
Republican
Democrats
colleagues
said it
to honor
did,
their promises and their obligations because they have
first of all,
become
it'd be amazing.
unreliable
Second of all,
narrators of facts.
Third of all,
each day of this shutdown
I
has
would
been
buy
brutal for our
Obama
country.
milk.
But Democrats have
I
been
would
here
buy
all
it.
along,
If it was, like,
and we're
cheaper
still here. We're still here to protect
came
the
literally
healthcare
from
for every
Obama.
American, and we're still here to protect our very democracy itself. So as I said, we will meet Speaker Johnson anywhere. I will meet with him anywhere. I left a message with his scheduler, and I'm happy to put him in touch with Leader Jeffries if he somehow has lost that number. I'm a fan of
You're gonna meet Johnson nowhere.
Dr. Seuss and children's literature. In a house with a mouse and a roof and a car, I will meet him anywhere. I will eat green eggs and ham anywhere. So let me be clear. Our votes and our position will not change. The healthcare crisis facing Americans must be addressed and addressed now. We are here to negotiate and to compromise now, and we ask Republicans to join us in doing the jobs that the American people have sent all of us here to do. Thank you very much for the opportunity to join you.
Just had to look at that guy the whole time.
Introduce the
And now,
esteemed whip
9 foot tall. Get after it. Whoa, she's so big.
Oh my goodness, thank you,
Here, move
Chrissy
me.
Houlihan. We appreciate your dialogue with the speaker and the gentle reminder. And I am so grateful to Congresswoman Jayapal, to President Barrett for bringing us together, and to all my colleagues from both sides of the Capitol. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being in this fight. Republicans are hiding out when they should be here governing. But these leaders behind me, the leaders in our Democratic caucus are fighting every day for a budget and a country that is worthy of our children. I really don't want to lose sight, and as all the speakers have pointed out, of what's really at stake. And with so many people that the Republicans are going after, American people, in honor of our retiring speaker, Nancy Pelosi,
Is this a real person?
I want us to think about the children
Is she
of this country and the impact
politician?
of them. It is children.
Can we talk about
who are
the
being
characters
asked
in
to
the
give up
background?
meals. It is children who are being asked to give up health care just to pay for the billionaire tax cuts. 13 million
from right
kids
to
in
left,
this country
so
don't get enough to eat. And what do the
I
Republicans
can't
do?
just do mean.
First, in the
I'm not gonna
spring,
be
they
negative.
defunded food banks. They canceled thousands of shipments,
Yes,
94
luxury
million
Caribbean
pounds
resorts,
of
dude.
food. Then they passed their budget and voted to cut
We're not
SNAP
there yet.
by
You
$186
have to work
billion. And then they went after even more. They withheld billions in SNAP funding. They weaponized hunger in this country.
That dude
Money
with
that was
the
already
like he's got his
appropriated
double
by
wrap neck
Congress
sweater.
to feed hungry people. They are using their hunger as a political
And
weapon, taking
there's,
food away
like,
from people so they can take
a
away
sign.
their health care too.
Can they not
Think
move this
about that.
sign?
Think about that. They want to kick 1 million
this
children
is
off
important.
of Medicaid. They want to hike
You guys calm down.
ACA premiums on another million. Their entire agenda is immoral. It's insidious, destructive to the very people they were sent to Congress to represent. Republicans need to stop with the excuses and listen to their own constituents. I want to tell one story of Allison Chandra from
So I
Utah.
don't know what a
Allison
constituent
grew
is,
up
but
in
I'm
a
assuming it's like a
conservative
person.
family.
Now she's
was
about to tell us
actually
someone that was like
opposed to Medicaid.
destroyed, and
She
it's going to be the
embraced a
Republicans'
lot
fault. Hold
of the
on, let's
talking
listen.
points we're hearing from Mike Johnson and our GOP colleagues. And
GOP.
then Allison
So I
found
learned
out
this
her son
recently.
had a
GOP
rare,
stands for
threatening
the Grand
heart
Old
disease.
Party. And that
She
literally
and her
means
husband simply
Republicans.
couldn't afford
Super
the
cool.
treatment their son needed without Medicaid. 11 years later, her son is thriving
Dead.
because Medicaid saved his life. And
Oh, that's good.
Allison, at this time, when healthcare is threatened for millions and millions of Americans and millions of children, she wanted to share her story with her delegation. She described her meeting with her Republican senator as dismissive.
Man, I wish I knew what a
He
delegation
wouldn't
was
even
too.
sit down at the table.
I'm sure it's
He
important.
wouldn't take a
I know.
seat
I believe
and
I
engage
have
with her and her children. And her Republican representative in the House, he didn't take the meeting at all. He couldn't bother to meet an 11-year-old boy whose life was saved by the very program he was voting to dismantle. A program that covers 4 out of 10 children in this country. So Republicans can pretend.
Look at that
they
dude on
can
the right.
spin
He
their
gets
story
it.
That they sit on the side of working families in this country.
It's kind of intimidating.
Ask them if they've talked to a mom like Allison. Ask them if they're ready to protect
I wasn't
the
listening. I feel
resources
so bad.
that families
I'm sure it's
need
super
and
important.
count
I wasn't
on.
listening.
Ask them if they're ready to protect health care for kids in this country. And then ask them to come back to work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Whip Clark, for your leadership and for our leaders'
Wow, that
leadership in just holding strong
Your
and
leaders'
making sure
leadership.
we deliver for the American people.
Yeah.
It's now a great honor
Good
to
job.
introduce the president of
Americans.
SEIU International,
yeah.
April Verrett,
So-
who has been such a champion, whose members we deliver for people.
Let's do some exploration.
Hello, it's really an honor to stand with these amazing leaders, these
always
amazing
the
women
name.
in our country who continue to go to work every day despite
Oh,
the
I don't know if I
shutdown
want
of
to change
Congress
from that. She's
to do
mad.
what they were elected to do. And that is to be champions for the people. And I'm so proud to
God bless
be
next
with
year,
them and to send a clear message that the 2 million members
Oh,
of
he's always good.
SEIU
Look at this dude.
Okay, why should you get one of these? I mean, apart from it having over 21,000 games and 23 different
There's no
consoles
other
bearing in
reason.
mind.
No thanks.
Oh, thank God. I was about to buy that thing.
Did he get that? Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, it's time to start defending your property instead of just recording it and then posting it online for all of us to see, because that's not going to teach the people who keep doing this any consequences for their action. These are the
Is that what
same
I'm
groups
doing?
of people who are celebrating killing another person because of the fact that they disagree with them.
That's
I
a
don't think
handsome
you
black man.
recording them and posting it online is really going to help anything.
I'm just saying that exclusively you'll never know what a period feels like and the pain that comes along with
I just
it,
realized
or
that
childbirth
my
or pregnancy.
earbud
I'm not
did
trying to
button.
diminish your experience, but I do think that this is a struggle that's exclusive to women that we cannot let men diminish.
I am a woman. I was not born a woman. Saying that only women can get periods, men cannot get periods, it excludes a lot of people.
If you do not experience everything that a woman experiences, and I'm talking about having babies, an actual period, putting up with us, then you're not a woman.
People from your movement.
Okay, so biologically, if you're born as a man, that means that you don't know the
I wasn't
personal...
born as a man, I was born as a baby who was a boy.
This video right here proves you can't reason with idiots. These people are already mentally ill. What makes you think throwing logic at them is actually going to work? It clearly doesn't.
I have never been so fucking embarrassed to be an American right now. How dare you speak to another fucking world leader like that?
Gross. I don't
Why
want
do
to hear women cuss. So, I'll stand on that. I'll stand on, of course, I'm anti-abortion in any way. I'm an abolitionist, but I don't think women should cuss. I don't, think women should fart.
Rental mobs come out. No one's got anything to do. They're coordinating behind the scenes to bring each other to where there might be an ice altercation.
I'm watching in the background.
Oh, she's getting right in his face, and this guy's getting right in the car. Yep. It's sad that people break the law and then have to suffer a consequence. Had they obeyed the law, there wouldn't be a consequence.
So we can get in our vehicle. You can record all you want.
Yeah, I gotta move these Karens back, man. Look at them screaming. Screaming. Well, you see, they all want the badge number. They're all wearing the badge on their shoulder.
So how do you
look at how close that person's getting. This is mayhem, man. That's why they're armed. That's why they're dropping tear gas in these neighborhoods.
I think they need tasers.
This is literally a hostile guerrilla army that could appear out of nowhere at any minute. What's happening now? They're yelling at somebody. Oh, who's this guy? This guy in the red.
You know, at least this guy...
Look at him. This is not peace. Back up. This woman's got like her tea. Oh, and here comes the gas.
What do I have out? What is this?
Because they won't leave.
Bones.
And then they say, oh, they gassed us.
God.
They came into our neighborhood and gassed us, and then we kicked the gas back at them because it's theirs. It belongs to them. It doesn't belong to us. Meanwhile, that's assault. That person should be arrested too. And these activists, they're not fighting their own state police. Look, state police backing up the rented rioters. That's right, time to go, guys. Time to back up. And look, they're saying, hey, look, we will push you back. We don't want to.
They lost it.
These agents are already prepared for tear gas.
They got tiny ears, bro.
Look at him. This guy right here is so hardcore, he doesn't even have a gas mask. He's like, if I breathe it in, it makes me stronger. That's wild.
Awesome, bro. Yeah.
But what's truly crazy is how when ICE does make an arrest, most of the arrests we just saw, they're all spun after the fact as if some grave injustice has occurred. Watch this.
ICE is here to take someone away.
This thing, it looks like an ordinary hiking stick. This is from Rhino USA, and it's built for way more than walking. You'll carry this once and never hike without it again. Let me show you why. Spear for fishing or self-defense. Down the line, stainless.
Oh yeah?
I started recording outside Rayito del Sol, a Spanish immersion daycare in North Center.
I saw her crying. I saw staff from the facility crying.
Okay.
I saw 3 agents putting her in the car.
A teacher arrested in front of parents and children.
It's some of the most chilling video footage.
It wasn't actually a teacher, as you're going to find out.
In my time in office.
Alderman Matt Martin says he's seen security video of the incident.
Sorry.
And
that was an amazing amount of
were
freckles,
walking
bro.
around inside the daycare.
And they literally tore her away, several agents.
The Department of Homeland Security says it did not target a daycare, claiming it was a targeted traffic stop in pursuit of a woman from Colombia. DHS says in a statement, the woman they were looking for and a man ran into the daycare and, quote, attempted to barricade themselves inside. But parents,
that's so crazy.
Much different.
Sad.
The children were crying. The parents were crying. It's a scene that I don't think any of us have ever witnessed before and will ever forget.
I don't know if that's different. I can assume that if police go somewhere and make an arrest when you have suspects that violently resist It's traumatic for everybody.
Male passenger ran into a daycare and attempted to barricade themselves inside. ICE said the teacher, Diana Galliano, entered the country illegally in 2023 and last month tried to smuggle in her children.
Wow.
Congressman Mike Quigley says Galliano has a work permit and legal documentation.
No, there's no way that's true. If you're here illegally, you do not have legal documentation. It is possible to enter America illegally and obtain a work permit. That was something that we were giving to people a couple of years ago. We were giving illegal immigrants temporary work permits. But if you're not supposed to be here, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean you can stay in America forever.
No parent should ever have to explain to their child why their teacher was dragged away by armed officers.
That is such a fake statement. Law enforcement pursued the vehicle before the assailant sped into a shopping plaza. Okay, that's dangerous. Where he and the female passenger fled the vehicle. They ran into a daycare and attempted to barricade themselves inside the daycare, endangering the kids. The illegal alien female was arrested inside the vestibule, not in the school. So they weren't a teacher in front of a class at all. And it says she also lied about her identity. Wow, look at that. So these people, they will literally spin the truth as if it's a lie and then use it to rile up these hordes that are out there throwing themselves at ICE agents while they're making these types of arrests.
And no teacher should fear that showing up to work to care for and educate kids could result
She wasn't going to work. She wasn't going to work.
Demanding the woman's release.
Hands off teachers,
For this to be a
hands off
reality of all the parents standing here,
and they all
is
believe
insane.
it. They're not even, these people.
It is surreal. It is a nightmare.
They're not asking questions.
All of this occurred as a federal judge in Chicago is considering whether to put restrictions on certain tactics of immigration agents. And in this teachers' community, there is real worry, guys, about...
Well, this judge is probably thinking like these activists, not listening to the facts, not understanding that you had a fugitive who fled into a school, not a teacher who was at work, happily teaching people, making the community better, who was then taken away from them unjustly. No, it's like you couldn't have two more polar opposites to the narrative of this story. And this happens with every single one of these arrests. That's why these people, these hordes, are so easy to rile up. They come out and they're screaming like, oh, you're taking this person away. They're just going to work. They're just trying to, build a house. They were just walking down the street. They were just trying to head to the bank. But really, they're hiding inside the bank. They're hiding in a construction site. They're fleeing arrest. Or even if they're not, they get arrested working at a job that they're not even entitled to because they're here in America without any legal permission to be in this country. And you know something? We've got big affordability problems in this country. And every single time ICE arrests somebody who's not supposed to be here and who is receiving government benefits and who is maybe working at a job that they shouldn't have, that helps make things more affordable for every single person who is legally supposed to be here. Because now there's a new job opening for somebody who needs one permission to be in this country. And you know something? We've got big affordability problems in this country. And every single time ICE arrests somebody who's not supposed to be here and who is receiving government benefits and who is maybe working at a job that they shouldn't have, that helps make things more affordable for every single person who is legally supposed to be here. Because now there's a new job opening for somebody who needs one. Now employers have to pay higher wages to attract workers because there are only so many jobs. And when employers have many workers to choose from, they don't tend to offer the highest pay. They don't tend to offer the greatest benefits or the greatest working conditions. And when many of these same individuals are out there using government benefits to buy food at supermarkets, the supermarkets, well, they don't have to lower their prices because consumers can't afford things because everybody can. You see, government assistance pushes up the price floor of what you'll buy at the supermarket. That's why if you go to a grocery store in...
Look at this. Make it a habit, 7 minutes of Tai Chi every morning all the way for 1 month. This Monday, we will start the advanced...
Boyfriends are temporary.
I was going to do it. No,
and social media is forever. Now, about young people, a much more important issue. Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now?
Yeah, for me.
I did not read this article. I am not a subscriber to Vogue. I am not on TikTok. Like I have a TikTok, I guess, but my team runs it. I don't have the app.
What?
Is having a boyfriend embarrassing now? By Shantae Joseph.
I only have YouTube.
In Vogue. I was turned on to this article, which has gone viral on social media by young Professor Jacob, an associate producer. He said, This was a big one. If you could survive this, if your relationship could survive this article going viral on social media, you guys are going to get married. What is so embarrassing about having a boyfriend?
Right wing, you know.
Just first few lines.
I love it.
If someone so much as says,
he's Catholic,
my boyf on social media, they're muted.
So
there's nothing I hate more than following someone for fun, only for their content to become my boyfriend-ified suddenly. It's probably because for so long it felt like we've lived in boyfriend land, you know, and then it goes on to complain that a woman is only defined by her boyfriend. It never goes the other way. You know, no man defines himself online by his girlfriend, and the women need to be girl bosses and blah, blah, blah. However, the article goes on, more recently, there's been a pronounced shift in the way people showcase their relationships online. Far from fully hard-launching romantic partners, straight women are opting for subtler signs. A hand on a steering wheel, clinking glasses at dinner, the back of someone's head. Or the more confusing end, you have faces blurred out of wedding pictures or entire professionally edited videos with the fiancé conveniently cropped out of all shots. Women are obscuring their partner's face when they post, as if they want to erase the fact that they exist without actually not posting them. So what gives? Okay, it goes on. I'm not going to read the whole article. You can read it yourself.
They're preparing for
preborn.com/Knowles.
Preborn.
A recent Danish study found something deeply, deeply concerning. Just 1 year after an abortion.
Okay, well, I would say if they're obscuring, they're preparing for not being with that man anymore.
Women were 50% more likely to need psychiatric treatment and 87% more likely to experience personality or behavioral disorders. These are not just numbers, not just statistics. They represent real women facing real struggles.
Well,
that is why Preborn takes a different approach. When a woman walks through their doors, uncertain and afraid, she finds something she may not have expected. Support. Through an ultrasound, she meets her baby for the first time, and suddenly, what felt like an impossible situation starts to look different. Preborn doesn't just stop there, though. When a woman chooses life...
That's beautiful. And that's true. Women should choose life. Look at this guy. He's an angry Republican.
This thing has a laser avoidance system, has auto takeoff, auto land,
if you've seen
follow
my
me function.
I'm not
Illegal aliens have officially taken over the city of Chicago. I used to think
In real
New York
life?
City or Los Angeles were the epicenters for the illegal immigration
What's an
crisis.
epicenter?
But after the new policy implementations by Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson and his declaration that no person can be illegal in the city of Chicago, they now wear that crown and are ground zero. And you will not believe what these emboldened illegal migrants are doing with the blessing of their mayor. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. But let's start by watching Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker hand out Mexican candy in migrant communities for Halloween.
What does that mean?
Sorry, I got the baby. I'm sorry.
Gobernador de Illinois J.B. Pritzker celebrando el Halloween de los niños latinos aquí en la comunidad de La Villita.
Happy Halloween. You want some candy too?
Why is that a problem?
That was a symbolic gesture that communicates overtly the state of Illinois does not acknowledge or abide by federal immigration law. That is J.B. Pritzker saying, we don't care what your legal status is. We don't care that you're taking housing supply from Americans who need it. We don't care that you're undercutting American wages at a time when Americans themselves are struggling to get by. I will harbor you. I will protect you. I will assimilate into your way of life. Hell, I'll even prioritize you. I am your governor and you are my constituents. And let me be clear, the kids are not at fault. The kids are the victims. Their parents broke the law and sentenced them to a lifetime of anxiety and uncertainty that they have to watch over their shoulders, that any day they could receive the news that mommy and daddy have been arrested, that any day federal agents could come knocking at their door, upending their entire life and sending them to a country they are unfamiliar with. These are the consequences of the parents' actions that the children have to live with. And just because they did it to provide a better life for themselves and their family doesn't change the fact that they broke the law. If I robbed a bank under the pretenses of wanting to provide a better life for my children, I would not be granted immunity from repercussions because I claimed my motivations were altruistic. In fact, I would be the bad guy for putting a target on my family's back. But according to Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson, disregarding the law is morally just. In fact, the law is racist and offensive. And that's why, according to him, no person can be illegal in the city of Chicago. Watch.
Impossible.
We don't have illegal aliens. I don't know if that's from some sort of sci-fi message that you wish have had. Well, listen, the legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too? So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings.
The Democrat obsession with changing words to sound more politically correct, more joyful, more cheerful, more flowery, more rosy, more colorful is both childish and a clear sign of emotional and mental instability. It shows a true lack of maturity and selfishness if, as an adult,
Instagram,
you want
X,
words to be changed because you think they sound too mean, they rub you the wrong way, you just can't stand it. And it leads down this disturbing and gross path of trying to destigmatize everything in the name of inclusivity that now Democrats demand in the name of politeness and compassion. You must call people who assault children minor attracted persons, and not the much more nefarious name that I can't say, otherwise YouTube will demonetize me. Their obsession with virtue signaling and suicidal empathy leads to this culture of endless concern, sympathy, and prioritization for the comforts of criminals. And another thing is, Brandon Johnson is such a staunch racist, he doesn't even realize it. The term illegal alien is used to describe any person illegally present in the United States. If he interprets that word to be singling out Hispanic people or somehow black people, that says a whole lot more about Brandon Johnson than the offensiveness of the word. But would you be surprised if I told you that extremely stupid statement by Brandon Johnson had an even dumber explanation attached to it?
But
well, here you go.
Here we go.
You cannot allow
it's that dude,
people to be
Why is his hair black and his
dehumanized.
beard is white?
Because what it does is it opens up viciousness.
That's what
because if they're not seen as human beings, then whatever you do against them can be justified. And no one is going to convince me what the Trump administration is doing against black people and brown people can ever be justified.
I mean, the confidence this man has in his ignorance and stupidity is just mind-blowing. When a person kills another person, let's not call them a murderer. That's dehumanizing. That's stigmatizing. Instead, let's call them a person who accidentally made another person go bye-bye. Or when someone commits a terrorist attack, let's not call them a terrorist. Let's call them a person who accidentally did a whoopsie. This Democrat philosophy that no person should feel bad about themselves, even the most heinous criminals who assault children, is exactly why they're seen as the party that loves illegal aliens and loves crime in cities. Trump wants to clean up crime in Chicago, and they say, no, you can't do that. Murders and carjackings are a way of life here. That's what makes the city great. But now, thanks to the blessings of both Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker, the illegal migrants in Chicago are now forming a union and refusing to pay rent until ICE leaves the city. Take a look.
As I grew up, I didn't want to be in the same situation as my parents, where I have to ask my children financially.
The courtyard of a Rogers Park apartment complex echoed with the voices of renters and tenant advocates united in protest against what they describe extreme rent hikes and unsafe living conditions across several buildings around Fargo and Damon Avenues. Tenants from 4 buildings owned by the same landlord came together and formed a union known as Fuerzas Activas de la Damon.
En estos momentos en que ICE está aterrorizando a nuestra gente.
Right now that ICE is terrorizing our community, our landlord is trying to nearly double the rent, says another longtime renter. Tenants say ramped up immigration enforcement has made it challenging for them to go to work.
This means they're losing wages, and that means that it's going to be much more difficult for them going forward to pay rent.
They currently pay between $900 and $1,500 a month, and as of October, they're
sorry, but homeboy shops at Macy's, you know what I'm saying?
Facing rent increases of $600 to $700. The union has made efforts to reach an agreement with the landlord calling for necessary repairs, limiting rent hikes to $50 per year, and protecting tenants from eviction. They warn that if the requests are not met, they are prepared to strike.
It's more than just rent.
Who strikes? The renters?
For justice and for community. For all.
They don't pay rent.
Rent increases of $600.
I missed it. I'm sorry, guys.
Much more difficult for them going forward to pay rent.
They currently pay between $900 and $1,500 a month, and as of October, they're facing rent increases of $600 to $700. The union has made efforts to reach an agreement with the landlord calling for necessary repairs, limiting rent hikes to $50 per year, and protecting tenants from eviction. They warn that if the requests are not met, they are prepared to strike.
It's more than just rent.
Well,
it's a fight for dignity.
If he owns his property, he can charge whatever he wants to.
Tenants say if their landlord doesn't address their demands, they'll move forward with the rent strike starting November 1st.
You mean
yes,
move
guys,
out?
You heard that right. Run the entire clip back and watch it again so you can see just how absurd and entitled these people are. They are not supposed to be in the country. And because of that, law enforcement upholding the laws of the United States are now out to get them. And because they're afraid of getting arrested for a crime they elected to commit, they're refusing to go to work so they can continue to break the law and remain here illegally. And because of the shit situation they're in, entirely due to their own making, they're demanding that the landlord stop collecting rent payments and also...
God bless you guys. That's enough news for tonight. Say I'm out.